today's webinar is going to be How to Win in Modern Wellness, which How to Win in Modern Wellness is a new book that's dropping, which we're actually going to be releasing it at the IV Biz Bash, first day of October. We'll have a lot of the contributors of my book signing the book, and you can pick their brains and everything else. So yeah, I'm Sam Tejada, president and founder of Liquivida, which those of you guys that don't know, Liquivida, we're a health, wellness, and beauty company. We take a proactive, preventative approach to medicine. We try to dive deep into the patient's health and then help them with different services and modalities like IV nutrition. Dr. Davis is our chief medical officer, also one of my partners, where we do a lot of work together to create a lot of these new protocols and educate medical practitioners, educate a lot of the end consumers on what we do so they can be in control of their health. So just to go through here. So a little bit about Liquivida. So Liquivida, we have wellness centers, just so you guys can kind of understand what we do. We put people through what's called the Vita Journey. The Vita Journey consists of 5 different divisions, which one of the most important parts that we're going to be talking about today is our wellness division, where we talk about IV nutrients therapy. We also do hormone optimization, and we do peptide therapies for different things like weight loss, neural function, and many other things. Another division we have is our medical weight loss division, our medical aesthetics division, regenerative medicine, and then also sexual health. What you guys will see at IV Biz Bash, there's a lot of different franchise systems out there. There's a lot of benefits of franchising into the different organizations out there. There's things that you can implement. A lot of these franchisors that are out there, you don't necessarily need to franchise with them for them to help you, which that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is the importance of building strong relationships in our industry. It's one of the things that we have to do is stick together, work together, learn from each other, so then we could do what our mission is to try to help as many people with their health and wellness. Liquivida, we also have our affiliate program where we work with medical practitioners with our proprietary IV infusion products that we have. We've created IV kits and also IV packets, where what we've done is made it easy for medical practitioners to implement it in their practice. Our goal is to give all medical practitioners their tools and ammunition for them to be successful. And that means us educating you guys with a lot of the different treatments and what those treatments do on a scientific standpoint, which I'll let Dr. Davis touch more on that shortly. So IV Biz Bash coming up, the one last year in October. It was a last minute thing, and Chris, Anita, we killed it, right? It was something, we had tons of people show up. It was fantastic. This year it's going to be even greater and bigger. So cool things about the IV Biz Bash. IV Biz Bash, we got a lot of CEOs that will be there, a lot of CEOs that are in the book that are talking about how they're winning in this world of modern wellness. This is a conference that you definitely want to participate in. Here, sorry.
Yeah, and when you say we did it fast, we did it super fast. So this year is going to be freaking awesome.
Well, it was quick, but I've been to conferences that have been doing this stuff for years, and the turnout was way better than some of these other conferences that they have a whole year to plan. I mean, the turnout was fantastic, and the speakers were fantastic. People were so engaged, and I know from the feedback that I got from a lot of the participants, we definitely got them motivated to grow their businesses. So the book, How to Win in Modern Wellness, that just launched here. So one of the things that when I first got into the industry, I decided to go a different route versus a lot of other business owners, which was the anti-cutthroat method. My goal was to build relationships with a lot of the leaders in the industry that are running some of these companies, the marketing side, attorneys, etc. So what I ended up doing is, after 10 years of being in the industry, I says, I got to get that message out there. So what I did is I reached out to some of my relationships, and you got people in here like Ben Crosby with Trip Bar, Jim Donnelly, founder of Restore Hyper Wellness, Carlton with Forever Young. You know, these are people that have hundreds of locations nationwide, and we're all talking how we're winning together in the industry and what we're doing to be able to do that. I think this book is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be great for you guys to meet a lot of these contributors that are in the book at Ivy Biz Bash, because one of the things that we like to do is grow together. And part of growing together is making sure that other people in the industry are there as a resource for you when you need to do things right. At the end of the day, this is a tricky industry because it's still new. And what we want, especially someone like myself, who's been in the industry, who has multiple locations, I want to make sure that everyone's doing things correctly, right? Because all it takes is one issue, one event that's negative, and it affects us all. All right. So some of the benefits of embracing the collaboration to write this script here is, you know, we have the ability to share our visions, everyone inside of the book, exchange ideas, knowledge, you know, that you guys could really understand from different leaders in the industry, their perspective of how they're doing it. And what you'll do is you'll actually see, and you'll even hear a lot of these people that are in the book when they're speaking on stage of how they're doing it and what they've done from the start to get where they're at. Okay. So here goes some of the people here that are in the book that will also be speaking on stage. Everybody knows Chris. Chris is wonderful, really fantastic guy. We actually just recently did a webinar talking about Ivy Biz Bash, which you'll start seeing a lot of that content go out there. I learned stuff from Chris all the time. You know, honestly, if I wasn't presenting or having a booth at Ivy Biz Bash, I'd be going there just to go watch Chris speak. All right, so Chris will be speaking. We have Jim Donnelly. We have Kevin Harrington, one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. We also have Jeff Cohen. Jeff Cohen, he is not just fantastic in business, but also a healthcare attorney. He has a whole team that specializes in different areas. We actually utilize his firm at Liquivida for everything healthcare. Then we also have Ben Crosby, who's the CEO of Drip Bar, also former CEO, franchisor of Tap Out. All right. So one of the other contributors that are in the book that will be at Ivy Biz Bash is Corey Jacobs. Corey Jacobs is the senior advisor to Puff Daddy, to P. Diddy, all right, which he has a movement called Winergy, which Winergy is all about us winning together. So he actually closes out the book as the last chapter, talking about how all of these different individuals in different positions of the industry, everything from law, from marketing, from operations, from all of the clinical stuff, how we're talking about how we're winning together and how we're being united for that. So one of the other chapters in the book is Dr. Christopher Davis. He's an interventional cardiologist who decided to step out of his cardiology practice to focus on functional medicine, more on the proactive approach to medicine. And in the book, his chapter, he talks about stepping out of the broken medical system. And that's going to lead us next to Dr. Davis's part of the presentation here.
All right.
So,
Thanks.
And Dr. Davis, if you want, you want me to control
I'll take over the share screen from here.
Okay, awesome.
First, let me get it up. All right. You guys see the continuation of the slideshow? Everybody shake it. Okay, great. Again, thanks, Sam, for the introduction. I'm Dr. Christopher Davis, and I am really looking forward to the Ivy Biz Bash in October. I want to use this 15 minutes of fame today to kind of just set the scene for what I want to talk about at the Ivy Biz Bash. And I think that the IV nutrient therapy business, the space that we are in, is uniquely set in a position now that we could really make some difference and headway in medicine in general. As Sam said, I'm an interventional cardiologist by training. I practice interventional cardiology, which means, running in the middle of the night and putting stents in hearts and legs and carotids and all that kind of stuff for about 12 years. But unfortunately, I got kind of fed up with our system of doing procedures and prescribing beta blockers and statins, and the patients continued to come back 6 months later over and over and over again. And I realized that there was a problem in our medical system that we needed to address. And, it was tough to kind of figure out, well, Chris, you realize that there is an issue, but what are you going to do about it? And I'll say that I started my own cardiology practice back in 2000, end of 2015, beginning of 16, and it was called Manatee Cardiovascular Wellness Institute. And I knew I wanted to move into the wellness space and helping my patients become more proactive, but I didn't know exactly what that looked like. Well, the first thing I did, and I'm not even sure how I heard about Liquivida, but I heard about this guy named Sam Tejada down in Fort Lauderdale, and I decided to go down and visit with him and learn more about Liquivida, with the thought being, well, maybe I'll bring in this IV nutrient therapy into my cardiology clinic and let that be the start of my wellness journey. Well, unbeknownst to me, it definitely was my start into the wellness journey, but then it led to me seeing the benefits of this therapy, the benefits of nutritional education. And from that point on, I knew that I needed to have a different approach to medicine. And so, long story short, I ended up, moving into a more of a concierge cardiology practice, starting my practice called Reveal Vitality, which is a health, wellness, regenerative medicine practice, with the basis and the start of it all beginning with Liquivida. And so, Sam, I thank you for allowing me to start my journey by bringing Liquivida into my practice. But and from that moment on, it was just continuous education for myself. And so today, what I want to tell you all is that you really are in a unique place where you can make a whole heck of a lot of difference. And what I want to do is, we're not going to go through too much of the science today, but things as simple as B vitamins and glutathione and alpha lipoic acid, they have such an effect because of all the chronic illness that we all experience today. So the start that I had in realizing there was a problem, there's a book that I would encourage everybody to read if you haven't read it. It's called Undoctored: Why Healthcare Has Failed You and How You Can Become Smarter Than Your Doctor. This was written by William Davis, who is the gentleman who wrote The Wheat Belly. But in this book, what he says is, healthcare is a system created to deliver the greatest revenue-generating products and procedures to address an illness, but not provide health. And if you let that sit for just a little bit and think about it, and you think about, what I did is I thought about the number of cardiac caths and stents that I placed in hearts and legs and all these places. Yes, we opened up an artery that had a blockage, but did I prevent that blockage from coming back? Did I teach my patient? Did I address the underlying root cause of that illness? And I use heart disease because that's my specialty, but I think about, the patients that I see now, the patients that have all of these gut issues and they're on medications and autoimmune drugs, when a lot of it is derived from the toxins in our environment, a lot of it's derived from just the foods that we eat or lack of nutrition. And so if we were to dive into the root cause of all these issues, we could be a lot more helpful to our clients. And so just saying that, we think about chronic disease. 1 in 2 adults has chronic disease, and 1 in 4 has 2 or more of these chronic conditions: heart disease, cancer, chronic lung disease, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. We know that we see more and more and more of these chronic illnesses. And what a large contributing component of it is that we never go looking for things. We live in a toxic world. And I tell all my patients, sometimes we just can't, we can't avoid it a lot of times, but knowing that we do live in this toxic world, understanding how we can improve our detoxification pathways, what we can do about it is very important. So when we talk about, we talk about heavy metals and we talk about other pesticides and other toxins in our environment, we understand that these things are causing a lot of oxidative stress, right? Again, I have 15 minutes here. So oxidative stress and inflammation go hand in hand, and those are the root of all chronic disease: heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's. And today we're seeing more and more people with cancer and heart attacks, and we're exposed to all these toxins. So what can we do, and where does IV nutrient therapy fit in, and why does it fit in? Well, all of these things are driven by one important factor, mitochondrial dysfunction. The mitochondria, we all know, produce energy, right? We think about it as producing energy, but mitochondria are also the largest source of this oxidative stress, right? And when people say, for the longest time, when I first started talking about this, I asked myself, what is oxidative stress? We've all heard about antioxidants and oxidative stress, but what exactly is oxidative stress? Well, what I like to do is I show my patients this here. I think about this rusty pipe. This is a house that's 100 years old, right? And we look at this rust that's built up inside that pipe, and that is actually oxidized iron, right? All of this stuff in the center is oxidation of this iron. And so this is what oxidative stress is. It's actually the buildup of all these free radicals or reactive oxygen species. And if you look at this heart artery, a very similar process. And this plaque is not just driven by cholesterol, but it's driven by oxidized LDL or cholesterol that has been oxidized that's causing this plaque to build up in the artery. So I'm going to go back to the mitochondria for a second. What ends up happening is when the oxidative stress or those free radicals outweigh your body's antioxidant capacity, that's when this oxidative damage occurs. So in the IV therapy business, we know that vitamin C and glutathione and alpha lipoic acid, these are all very, very potent, what? Antioxidants. So we are in a very unique place to deal with a lot of these oxidative stressors that are upon us because of the environment that we live in. Having said all that, I had something that's much more complicated, so I call this my dumbed down mitochondrial slide. But what I want you guys to realize, okay, and I'm going to go through here, this is a mitochondria, and this is where all of our energy is produced here, right in the inner mitochondrial membrane. This is called the electron transport chain. And one thing you'll notice here, for this electron transport chain to work appropriately and efficiently and produce energy, we need all of these vitamins, vitamin B2 and B3, and we need other minerals like manganese and copper. So what we do with IV nutrient therapy is when we look at the biochemical level of what we're doing and the ability to help patients, it's much more than we're just not doing things because, okay, this makes me feel good. What I really pride myself on these days is, and I'm going to show you data where we are measuring levels. When we measure and see these pathways and understand what's going on and see where there's a selenium deficiency and why this process doesn't work, then you begin to realize the power that we have in our hands with IV nutrient therapy, all right? Not to mention, look at the percentages of the population that are deficient in these nutrients and many of these nutrients, right? Okay, vitamin E, folate, when there are huge amounts of our population that are significantly deficient in all of these micronutrients. And I won't even talk about, this is actually the consumption, think about the lack of nutrition in our foods today, okay? And on top of that, the number of people with leaky gut or intestinal permeability issues that are affecting our nutrient absorption. So we really have a very unique opportunity to improve overall nutrition status so that the patients are able to detoxify better and this oxidative stress is dealt with in a more appropriate manner. So this is just one a snippet of what we call a micronutrient test from one of the companies that we use, okay? And I want you to see this is the power of when we're testing and not guessing when we're making our recommendations for our IV nutrient therapy. This patient had gotten blood work done, and if we look at blood levels of these micronutrients, folate, selenium, and zinc, and then intracellular levels. Now this, again, I don't have time to go through this, but I'm going to make a point to you. If you go to Quest and you get your folate level done, and it may be nice and normal, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't get into the cell to do its work, it's not working appropriately, right? So that's the purpose of doing either a test like this is going to measure serum and intracellular, or there are also other functional tests that test organic acids. Again, I'll mention that when we talk in October. I'll give you a little bit more. We'll dive more into the details, but I want to give you guys just a teaser as to the importance of understanding what's going on with your clients, because when we look at these micronutrient deficiencies, your patient comes in tired. Well, guess what? Selenium is super important for thyroid function, right? Zinc, very important for hormonal function. Folate, very important for a process called methylation, and methylation is important for everything. Hormones, neurotransmitters, DNA repair. So if I have deficiencies in these micronutrients, and I know there are a lot of issues that could potentially be going on just related to the micronutrient deficiencies. So what do we have in IV nutrient therapy? We have the ability, and I want to go back here. Let me go back to this one real quickly. Why is it that my folate level can be very high in the serum, but not getting intracellular? That tells me that there's a cell membrane problem. What does that mean? All the toxins I just mentioned, like the mercury or the lead or the other plastics, BPA, those are bound to the cell membrane. And guess what? The cell membrane doesn't work so well. So I can't get my micronutrients into the cells to do what it needs to do. What does that mean for you as an IV practitioner? Well, what do I have at my disposal that I can help with detox pathways? Well, glutathione is great at doing that. And more importantly, I'm not sure how many of you guys are using this, but phosphatidylcholine is a fatty acid that's used to make these cell membranes function more normally. So everybody that has any kind of toxic buildup, you should be thinking phosphatidylcholine to improve cell membrane function so that my folate can get intracellular and do what it's supposed to do. So again, just thinking about the rust busting, we talk about what is oxidative stress? Oxidative stress is the buildup of this rust in my system. I ask my patients, are you getting rusty inside? Part of aging is getting rusty. How do we prevent that rust? We fight off with antioxidants like vitamin C, glutathione, NAD, phosphatidylcholine, and the B vitamins, which are super important for the methylation cycle. Now, I know I said a lot. I'm going to say even more when we do this talk in October, but I wanted to give you guys a setup to show you where the power of IV nutrient therapy is. And once you have an understanding of why the patients are having the symptoms they're having, I can't tell you the number of issues, anxiety and depression and headaches, the things that you address just by looking at micronutrient deficiency. So with that being said, I'm super excited about being part of this. I mean, again, I think we are in a very, very unique space to make a difference in healthcare. I do what I do now because somebody and somehow we needed a platform to make a difference. This is just one of the platforms that I hope to use to do that. And I thank you guys for your time.
Awesome. Wow. Dr. Davis, that was fantastic. And you're just scratching the surface there when you're talking on the scientific side. Dr. Davis, do you have the next slide there?
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? Let me do one thing. I actually want to show you this. We can make a massive difference. I want to show you guys, if you haven't seen this, let me share one thing. And this was actually something I wanted to share. Let me offer to share. This is true story. One of the first patients that I saw when I got involved with Liquivida back in 2017 was this patient here. And tell me if you guys see this video?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to watch this.
We can't hear it though.
Oh, shoot. Let's see. Let me see if I can turn up the volume.
How the tremors are at the moment, and if you try and do anything.
Can you hear it all now?
A little bit.
Okay, let me stop this real quickly. I'll set it up for you. This is a guy with Parkinson's disease. The first part of the video is him before we did a glutathione drip. This is me first delving into IV nutrient therapy. I had read about Dr. Perlmutter's work and him giving glutathione for these Parkinson's patients and having some fairly remarkable results. And so soon after I got involved with Liquivida, I said, let me try this glutathione business and see what happens with Parkinson's disease. So with that being said, I don't think we need to talk about it a whole lot. Just kind of watch this guy and I'll kind of narrate.
Both arms, people get hurt more on the left side than the right, typically. And how about if you touch your nose?
So we're going to touch his nose, and then we're going to ask him to do his buttons.
Your shirt gets real.
And Dr. Davis, this is before.
This is before.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, this infusion will just take about 20 minutes, and then
20 minutes IV glutathione, and this is right after.
How many milligrams were you giving him?
2,000.
Okay.
I think that's
Wow.
Big difference. Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wait. Watch the nose and watch the buttons.
Yay. Oh my gosh.
Watch this buttons. He almost cried. He did cry.
Oh.
This is the rewarding part of the job. This is what we all want.
So And there's a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more to this. There's a whole lot more to this. I just wanted to show you guys. When you talk about making a difference, you know, this is the reward. You know, many people ask me, "You're an interventional cardiologist. Why did you do what you do?" This is early on. This is 2017, first, before we even got close to the stuff that we do now, close to the education that we have on the things we can do right now. So, you know, I think that really, you know, the world is we have a lot of opportunity. We are really launching a lot of very advanced cardiometabolic programs with Liquivida right now, looking at cardiopulmonary fitness and VO2 max testing. We are doing just some amazing things when it comes to overall health and wellness. You know, and again, it's not about, this is about sharing the message with everybody. This is not, we're not people to live in a scarcity mentality. At the end of the day, this is to change a culture. This is about changing healthcare. And people will, when I first got into this business, I said, who's going to pay me cash to do what I do? Well, I can tell you, there is no lack of people that want to pay you cash if you get results, right? So it's about learning how to get those results.
Yep.
Dr.
Absolutely.
Davis, I'm gonna share my screen here for the last portion here. All right. So just to wrap up, everyone, again, this is just Dr. Davis scratching the surface on the scientific side. We have many other people that will be speaking at IV Biz Bash, also diving deep on the science side. We have Gary Brecka with 10X Health Systems. Most of you guys probably see him all over social media, educating the public. You know, you'll have guys like myself, like Jim, talking about not just business, but also customer experience, which is extremely important, how to market your business. So IV Biz Bash, you're going to get all the information you need, not to just start your business, but truly to be able to scale it and take it to the next level. You have some very strong people that are going to be there. Go there, start building relationships, get your book. We're going to be handing them out, How to Win in Modern Wellness. This event will sell out. Make sure you get your ticket. Those of you guys participating on this webinar, we do have a special 20% off using the promo code Liquivida20. So make sure you use that to save a few dollars, but don't wait till last minute. Get your ticket because it will be sold out. And I know what happens. People will be reaching out to me, texting me, hey, can you get me in? Can you get me in? This time around, it's going to be very difficult. So make sure you get your ticket.
Yeah, and Mel dropped a link in there also. It's actually buy 2 tickets, get a second 50% off, and the Liquivida is 33% off, Sam. So
oh, nice. Oh, even better. It's
I know,
better.
even better. And you guys, I know you had a lot of questions and Q&A. The beautiful thing about coming to Biz Bash is that you can actually meet Sam, you can meet Dr. Davis, you can ask these questions, learn a tremendous amount more. This was just to kind of expose some of the content that we'll be sharing there. So thank you. It is not online. We're doing this 100% in person. It's a different energy when we're all together networking and just sharing that energy in the room. So we're definitely doing it all in person again this year. All right, the event itself is in well, it's Austin, Texas, but it's North Austin. The actual town, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's you'd fly into Austin. Kalahari Resort, yes, and it's a jungle resort, so lots of water parks, fun things to do, beautiful location, Round Rock, Texas. Thank you, Carrie. All right, Sam and Dr. Davis, thank you so much for being here. And I just was grinning from ear to ear because everybody laughs at me because I'm obsessed with oxidative stress. And I literally study it every single day. And everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I just want everybody to get, we really are making a difference. And if we all come together to this event and unite and protect what we've created so that we can protect our community and prevent these things from happening and really make a difference for people. So thanks you both for being here. Everyone have an awesome and safe holiday weekend, and you guys stay safe in Florida.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Take care, everyone. Be well.
All right. Thanks, everyone.